Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Gargoyle's Quest, Ghosts and Goblins. The last part we saved King Darkone from that one demon that I can't remember the name of at the moment, and now we're in the desert. The desert is, to bring a reference to another game I've LP'd, like that one cloud room in that one floor of Final Fantasy Legend 1, which this game actually graphically reminds me quite a bit of. In that there's a lot of invisible forces pushing you in mysterious directions. I guess it's supposed to be like sandfalls or something, I don't know. But you do need to be careful. The way to go around it, though, just basically go around the giant circular area, kind of like a conch shell. Once you're around here, one more square to my left, go down two, and then just alternate right and down until you get to this next level. Which is debatably my least favorite, but also kind of one of my favorites. Because a good amount of this level is just a constant descent down a giant spiked area. And this can be very annoying if you're not constantly pressing the A button every, like, half second just to make sure you can get a grip on what's going on around you. If you're going the speedrun strat, you're probably not doing this at all. In fact, actually, what is the speedrun record for this game? But on your first playthrough, either way, this can actually be a very annoying stage. Let's see, speedrun, demos, Gargoyles Quest. I know I've seen a Gargoyle's Quest speedrun, but that was Gargoyle's Quest 2 at a GDQ a few years back. By the way, what I'm standing in right now is actually water, but for some reason it doesn't flow downwards, and I don't understand why, but you can jump infinitely in it, so I'm cool with it all the same. By the looks, speedrun record, at least on speedrun.com, is 25 minutes 43 seconds on Japanese Game Boy Color. Interesting. I can understand the Japanese part, because you can say a lot more with less in Japanese, usually. However, I have to wonder why the Game Boy Color. Is there, like, a speed difference, or is it just due to being able to run more stably? Probably that, honestly. But still, we're way over that. Also, this is the man-eating plant. This is the one enemy I know by name because it's really annoying. It has way too much health. In fact, I think it's not very viable to kill it at all. And what it does is that it constantly stalks you from even off-screen. Unlike most enemies who despawn, this guy will follow you to the end of time. And it does 2 damage, so that kind of sucks. Not a fan of that enemy. Thankfully, as far as I can recall, it only shows up in 2 stages. But it doesn't stop it from still being really annoying. Either way, here we are at the boss for this stage, which is one of my least favorites, just due to how annoying it can get in my eyes. This is Zaku Druzer, I believe its name is. The way this fight works is that it's constantly following you. Wherever you are, it tries to jump up and do touch damage to you, and every now and then it just shoots out a projectile of one of the 2 mouths on its arms. And every now and then it will also stand still for a second to do something, I don't know what, like right now. That could also just be a glitch in the fact that it can't move because the ground's on the screen. This fight can be kind of annoying just due to the tenseness of it because you're constantly being stalked. But at the same time, it's also a very fun fight because of that. Honestly, he's probably my favorite fight in the game. Which is kind of sad. But, it's not too hard. If I recall, when he touches you, he does 2 damage, so that can be kind of lethal. But at the same time, it doesn't move too quickly, so it's overall a fairly fair fight in my eyes. And that's the Desert of Destitution, I believe this place was called. So let's get out of here and see what our reward is. And for beating this stage, we get the Candle of Darkness we were told to get for Byman. So now we can head back to that town. But we also receive the Power of Claw. That's our next attack type, similarly to Blockbuster. Next battle, you can pause and select that for your next ability. I'll go more detail about what it does when I first use it. For now, let's just go get that candle over to Byman so we can let us get towards Majorita. Or Majorita, or whatever. You have done very well, Firebrand. You can get to the cave where Majorita lives by using the secret passage from this room. Gee, I wonder where it is. Though it doesn't actually visually tell you can now use it, basically now, we can walk through it. This is really dumb. That's really, really dumb. I don't like that. My first playthrough, I thought the game glitched because I couldn't see a thing that could have opened. I saw an obvious place where there was supposed to be a passageway, but I didn't think I'd have to walk through a fake wall like that. I'll Shadow Temple and Ocarina of Time. Or, basically Final Fantasies 1 through 3. Well, actually, no, and 4 as well. 5 did it too. 6... You know what? Every Final Fantasy up to 7. Let's just do that to cover our bases. Also, we get 4 vials. I think that's the most vials you get at any point in the game together. Either way, Majorita is fairly close by. Her cave... Well, yeah, just take a guess where it is. I can't let you meet Majorita. Brigger's orders. Now it's time for us to find another Hunchback, so let's activate our Claw ability. Claw is not a claw attack as its name would suggest. It's another higher damage attack. Decent rapid, but that's about it. However, its one specialty is that you might remember someone said it could allow us to climb the sheerest of walls. What they mean by that is, say there's spikes on a wall, you can shoot claw at it, and it will gum up the spikes temporarily for you to climb onto the wall and jump higher. Also, this is an enemy actually we could have seen earlier. We could have seen these guys as early as around the first town. Ghouls with shields. Kind of practical. You can only hit them from behind, as you would expect. This is probably one of the shortest areas in the game, though, because this is, if you can't tell by the music, considered basically to be another bridge in the fact that there's not much stuff here. It's also basically here to tell you how to use Claw. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Blade. That's a good movie, but it's not relevant. Feasibly, you could just do what I just did there, though, instead of skipping entirely. Hi, Majorita! If you want to know about the red blaze, light a candle at the altar. Okay, I'm going to grab this thing first. Yay, more money, quote-unquote. The bat signal! Let's use the candle of darkness. Upon lighting the candle of darkness, the surrounding area put under a cloak of darkness. They misspelled area, by the way. A long time ago, the red blaze defeated the King of Destruction and locked him away deep underground. He was called the Red Blaze because his color was that of a blazing fire, so like us. Odd. The Red Blaze. Yes, he was a mutant gargoyle. Huh? There remains only one who is of the same blood. Gee, I wonder who that is. Red, a gargoyle, kinda kick-ass. It's totally Arthur. Firebrand! Once you know the secrets, we can't set you free! Okay, now we have to fight some of the... what did I call these guys earlier? Chariot Riders? Whatever. This is actually a pretty annoying fight against them, though, because in this specific case, the arena is actually thinner than it used to be, so they'll actually be able to get some more attacks in. Purely due to the fact that they'll be on screen not only longer, but that means the time between their intervals where you can attack them easily, at least from where I usually stand, is actually a bit shorter. Not too annoying at the end of the day, though. Your powers also... Now I begin to understand. What? The one who is of the same blood is Firebrand. It's you! Can you defeat... Only you can defeat Brigger. But you are so weak now. Go to the east and find Rushifell. Get the eternal candle from him. You know, I just realized one of the biggest things about this game's grammar is they don't use as many contractions as they could. That's kind of stupid. Also, it'll become more prevalent when we actually see him, but Rushifell is actually a returning character, similar to the red armor that we are. In that, Ghosts and Goblins, I obviously played the first one, but have you ever wondered why they called it Super Ghouls and Ghosts? Is because Super Ghouls and Ghosts is a sequel to a Sega Genesis and arcade game known as Ghouls and Ghosts, which is already a sequel to Ghosts and Goblins. So basically, Super Ghouls and Ghosts is actually Ghosts and Goblins 3. Ghouls and Ghosts had a villain, also named Rushifell, which I'll just say is outright intentionally typoed Lucifer. So, it's actually a returning character from Ghosts and Goblins 2. Though, if I recall, in the Genesis version of Ghouls and Ghosts, he was named Loki, I think. Firebrand, why have you come here? You fake! Rushifell has the candle. The real red blaze is Rushifell himself. Dick? You are the red blaze. With your help, we can beat Brieger. At least some people like me. God. I do recommend going over here, though, because if I recall, I think this is the last password hut in the game. I think. I could be wrong about that. If there's more, there's one more, but I believe this is the last one. Because there isn't much left to the game. There's only 2 levels, actually. I noticed something kind of suspicious about the stone path out here. Notice how it leads outside town? Let's follow it. Go the old Final Fantasy V approach. Well, I guess that was technically 1 that did that first. Hi, friend! Remember me? It was I who gave you the armor of Guile. If you're seeking the Naga's path, it's the 5th one from the northernmost side. What? The other paths are all traps. Good luck, friend. Okay, now what this guy's talking about is, to get to the next area, you need to select a certain cave from a set of 5 coming up. I really don't like the way he said that, because he said it was farther than the northernmost side. I don't know what he's supposed to mean by that, but when the answer is the one that's farthest to the right. It's this one. I don't know what he was talking about there. I don't get it. This, though, is another fairly annoying little bridge area, because look, 1 man-eating plant. And I forget if I let the other spawn. 2. There are 3 of them in this stage. And that can be kind of bad if you're going for the vials here. By the way, here's what Blade Claw does. You can just do that to climb on spikes. It's pretty useful, actually. Kind of wish Mega Man had an ability like that. But yeah, I don't like this because on my first playthrough, I was going for all the vials, and these guys killed me at least 4 times, and that's pretty annoying. Also, what's the point of that life up? I just realized, because you're at the end of the stage anyway. Either way, welcome to Rushifell's castle. Firebrand, I know you're coming. If you are the true Red Blaze, defeat me and prove your right to the eternal candle. I'll be waiting for you. Just gonna moonwalk out of here, okay. Okay, now it's time for my actual least favorite stage in the game. Why? Well, first off, things just do a lot of damage in here. Most enemies will do 2 damage. Environments will only generally do 1, but still, that's a lot for your 4 points of health. And there's one design decision here that pisses me off particularly bad. And it's, well, actually, no, technically 2, because the checkpoint's pretty far away from the boss fight. It's coming up at the end of this hallway. You see, in 2 or 3 pits in this stage, there are these little spikes that kind of veer in and out, like this one, that you're supposed to avoid. Problem is, their hitbox is too big and you can never avoid them in these instances. It is actually impossible to avoid them. As far as I'm aware, at least, unless you do some trickiness with taking a hit beforehand. But still, that's stupid. Because of that, you can get completely screwed over and die really sillily. Thankfully, as far as I can recall, they're only used twice in the stage, but that's a very glaring design oversight that there's no way to avoid those, even though you can tell you are supposed to be able to avoid them just based on the fact they move left and right. Either they put them too close to the wall, or the hitbox is just too big. I don't know what exactly is going wrong there, but something is. And to quote Sonic, that's no good! I think that's actually the only one you can avoid right there. Okay, so they're in 3 pits in this place. Also, here's a nice little distraction. Come up here, you can find a heart. That's also another kind of issue I have with Gargoyle's Quest 1. Less, I have it less so than 2 and 3, because if I recall, 2 and 3 did this better. But in Gargoyle's Quest 1, there's not many ways to restore your life. I mean, sure, I have the Soul Stream Essence, but I never use it, because I like holding on to it just for that one instance where I would absolutely need it. Problem is, I always hesitate about using it. It's kind of like using Mega Elixirs in a Final Fantasy game. You could use them at any point, but they're too good to use. Maybe that's just my stubbornness in this game's case, being the death of me, but yeah. Also, Indiana Jones balls. Boulders, rather. There are a few of those. They first show up at Dark One's castle, but as you can see, you can avoid them pretty easily. We're actually coming up on the boss fight right now, but I do something really stupid here. The bottom is where you have to go. You need to use Blockbuster to destroy these rocks, and even then, you don't want to switch off of it because Rushifell himself, as I'll discuss, can only be harmed by the Blockbuster. But also notable is that there is a heart on top of me right now, basically, on the top path. Problem is, I didn't think about the enemies respawning, and thus, that skull flower I destroyed is, it's kind of back. So, I'm in a bad position right now because I have no way to really avoid this. I thought I could get through this place, but, ow. So now I only have 1 hit point for the boss fight, which sucks. Rushifell is probably my least favorite boss in the game, but I hate the final boss even more, so he's not. You can only hit him in the head, and only with Blockbuster. The way that this fight works is that his arms will constantly switch between those 2 positions, firing little stars in them. The major annoying thing about this fight is the little weird flower thing he fires at us. That thing cannot be destroyed by us at this point, so we just need to be avoiding it and running around him in a circle the entire time while trying to do as much damage to him as we can in the process. On my early playthroughs, I always tried to cling to the blocks while shooting him because I was in a good position, and it is a feasible strategy. Problem is with that is you don't get enough hits in as quickly, so it's just better to do what I just did. And the Rushifell turned into a Cyclops. Creepy.
You are indeed the Red Blaze, but you don't have your full powers yet. For that, you need the Eternal Candle. I am honored to give it to you.
We now have the Eternal Candle!
Only you can defeat Brigger. Go save our realm, Red Blaze.
The essence of the ghoul realm is building inside you and filling you with power. If someone is speaking to you in your mind, what? You are our son? Show us your real power and defeat the King of Destruction. What? You acquire the magical power of Darkfire. That's the last attack. I'll go over that eventually. It's basically just a higher powered attack. But also notable with what happened there, our health and wings are now upgraded. You'll see how next part. But that's actually a pretty cool way to get a good upgrade, I suppose. I like story-related upgrades like that. But with that, I'm going to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 4, we're going to go finish off the game. That's the best way I can summarize it. See you guys then.